I think that that it would be of some interest for all the authors and also for some of the audience to listen which publication opportunities Palgrave Macmillan is actually put on the table for our research. So we are late, so I don't take more time. I leave the floor to Lavais, which is who is editor-in-chief for Palgrave, also of my Palgrave Studies in Impact Finance, and who knows very well the conference. And also, she will present the publication opportunities by Palgrave, but also we have to celebrate. We have a little celebration for the Palgrave Studies in Impact Finance, but I don't want to anticipate anything. Okay, Tula, thanks for waiting us.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, Mario. It's a pleasure. So I'm going to share my screen right now with a brief presentation that I have, and I hope that you can see it well. All right. So thank you so much for having me. As I said, my name is Tula Weiss. I'm the executive editor at Palgrave, acquiring books into our finance discipline. I also oversee our finance and economics programs at large. So I just wanted to give you a brief agenda of what I'll be discussing with you all today. Basically, I'd like to start by just giving you all a brief introduction to Palgrave and our larger parent company, Springer Nature, talk a little bit about the formats that we publish and the publication process as a whole on a large scale, and the things that you can expect from us as a publisher. And then I'll talk a little bit about 5 things to think about when you're writing a proposal that I find most useful, and then end talking about our Palgrave Studies in Impact Finance series and our Green Finance sub-series that we just launched. So Palgrave Macmillan is a global publisher of both academic and professional books and journals, but I focus mostly on books. We have editorial teams in London, Shanghai, Singapore, Delhi, and Melbourne, but I myself am based in New York. We are a social science and humanities specialist, so alongside finance and economics, which I oversee, and our larger business and management team, we also publish within literature, history, media studies, religion, sociology, psychology, etc., etc. So we are quite well known as a social science and humanities specialist. We are an imprint of Springer Nature. So in 2015, the company merged with Springer Nature, which is the publisher of nature journals. I don't know how familiar some of you might be. And with that merger, we formed the largest academic publisher in the world. And the world's largest publisher of scholarly books. So we publish across all of our imprints, including Palgrave Macmillan, Springer, A Press, and others, 13,000 books annually. And we have 10,000 employees based in 50 countries, which just accelerates our global visibility. So Palgrave, as a finance publisher, the area that I specialize in, we really seek to offer research written and edited by the foremost financial experts in the field, trying to make sense of sometimes the ever-evolving and sometimes confusing landscape of finance and thinking. So the goal really with the finance program is to provide researchers, academics, students, practitioners in the finance space with the latest knowledge, the latest tools and techniques required for either their day-to-day research or their jobs. And I've included a few books here that I just wanted to briefly call out, a fintech title in our professional program, one of the titles in our Impact Finance series, a more trade type title, talking a little bit about financial markets, and then lastly, a recently published handbook of fintech and blockchain, just to name a few of what we work on. So within that, we publish 6 major formats, but 3 are probably of most importance. So the first is our Palgrave pivots. They're longer than a traditional journal article, but shorter than traditional monograph, which comes in about 60,000 words, really allowing researchers to publish their research in the form that they've written it in. So it's about 25,000 to 50,000 words, usually on kind of a innovative or pressing topic area. And the one wonderful thing about our pivots is that they're quick to publication. So our production timeline, given their format, is usually about 12 weeks from the time the manuscript is submitted to production to the time the book publishes. Our monographs are authored works focusing on research in an influential space within the field. It can be single author or multiple authors. And as I said, 60,000 plus words. And then alongside that, we have our edited volumes, which is multiple chapter authors, typically broader in scope, but not always, still critical and peer-reviewed academic research. And edited volumes also start typically at 60,000. Then alongside that, we have kind of our three higher level formats: reference works, handbooks, and textbooks. So reference works are traditionally very comprehensive and complete tertiary material, tertiary research compiled into one volume or multiple volumes. Our handbooks are high quality original reference works. So they're chapters that are commissioned specifically for that handbook. They're edited volumes, but large edited volumes of 25 plus chapters, and usually speak to a specific area within the field and develop research in that area, and also forward-looking. And then our textbooks are written typically for a very specific higher education course. We at Palgrave publish kind of upper undergraduate and graduate textbooks specifically, and ideally they would be curated for a specific course in mind. So the publication process has 5 specific stages to it, and I'll just kind of talk about them very briefly. So the proposal submission is the first stage. It really starts with an idea, and then an actual proposal form needs to be filled out that I review. And I'll come back to the authors with comments or feedback to that proposal form as needed. Assuming the proposal is in a good enough place, the project will go out for peer review. And during that process, it is a single blind process, meaning the reviewers know who you are as the author, but the authors do not know who the reviewers are. And then we try to enlist at least 2 referees for each proposal. And then assuming whatever those comments may be, I work with you alongside you to provide feedback to the reviewers. If I feel everything is good, then it moves to acceptance and the project is presented to our editorial team, our editorial board, who then would approve and we'd go to contract. The third part of the process is the manuscript development. So you'd work alongside me and my team at Palgrave to kind of develop the manuscript, make sure that it's in line with all the production technicalities. And that can be a short process or a very long process, depending on how long it takes you to write. And then fourthly is the production stage itself. So once the manuscript has been through the manuscript development, the final manuscript has been submitted. Typically that manuscript also goes through a clearance review to one of the initial peer reviewers to confirm that all is well. It gets submitted to production. And during that production process, it goes through a typesetting, a copy editing, and a proofreading. The production process is typically for monographs and edited volumes about 5 months long. And then lastly, the publication. And you'll see at the bottom, it says, that process can take as short as 6 months, as long as 2 years. It really depends on each author and or editor and how long it takes them to gather the content for the book. So what can you expect from us? Well, we feel very strongly about thorough peer review by academic specialists in the field, both at proposal stage and ideally at final manuscript stage. We offer full copy editing and proofreading services on those accepted manuscripts to make sure that they are of the best quality. And we pride ourselves on the timeliness. The timeline between the receipt of your manuscript and the publication is typically faster than many of our competitors. You'll note that our pivots are quite fast with 12 weeks, but even our monographs, we say 5 months, sometimes it can be shorter than that. We publish simultaneously in print and electronic formats, and we have a huge advantage of being a part of Springer Nature is that all of our ebook content is available via Springer Link, alongside being available from most major ebook retailers like Amazon and the iBook store. We offer a global distribution and print on demand with printers around the world. As I said before, we have editors and sales teams throughout the globe. Actually, we have sales teams in over 50 countries. So 5 things that we look for in a proposal. The first would be original research. Is it a new discovery, a unique synthesis of an idea, interdisciplinary work, which is our specialty? Is it relevant to an ongoing debate in the academic field? That is obviously important. But more important than that, I think, is having a clear and persuasive argument in the book and connecting it to a defined audience. Sometimes there is really wonderful research, but it doesn't have a big enough audience to support a book. So please keep that in mind. But lastly, and I think probably the most important, does it fit with our list? The way you can figure that out is you can browse our titles on Springer Link and see if we publish something in a similar format or similar way, similar content level. And then please feel free to reach out to me. But without further ado, I'd really love to talk a little bit about Palgrave Studies in Impact Finance series, which I am very proud to work on and very proud to work with Mario on. So we've officially hit our 25th book published in the series this year, which is quite an accomplishment and really a testament to not only the growing importance of this area, but also Mario as a series editor as well. So the series, to give you a bit of background, provides a valuable scientific hub for researchers, professionals, policymakers, anyone who's really involved in impact finance and other kind of related topics. Realistically, we hope to pull out the social, political, environmental, and ethical impact of finance and talk about a variety of areas. You can see some of the recent titles within the series at the bottom of the page. This includes policy issues, financial instruments, markets and clients, standards, regulation, financial management, all with a specific focus on impact investments and microfinance. And I would be remiss in not mentioning our newly launched Studies in Green Finance subseries. So within the larger Impact Finance series, we've now pulled out a subseries devoted specifically to green finance. And I'm delighted to work with Helen Chiappini as the subseries editor alongside Mario to work on this very important topic in books. And our first title has published just this week, actually, and it's titled Environmental Governance and Greening Fiscal Policy by Marie Petrie, and you can see that book cover right there. We're really delighted by this. But the series as a whole aims to look at green finance, specifically with regards to a lot of areas in that realm. So green investment, green business models, different actors in the green finance market, new regulations, asset risks and performance, alongside other emerging areas like climate risk and green fintech. So it's a really all-encompassing sub-series within the green finance space. And it's the first international series dedicated to such a topic, so we're really excited about it. So I just wanted to showcase a little bit more about the series, and we do actually have a discount code for any of you who are interested to go onto Springer Link and use the code PMP 2022 if you're interested in purchasing any books within the series or sub-series. But as I said, we're celebrating the 25th book in the series in 7 years, so that's quite impressive, and we're really excited about the sub-series as well. So I really appreciate you all taking the time. I'm happy to answer any questions via email. I have my email address right there. Otherwise, if you'd like to get in touch with any ideas on the series or sub-series, I'd be happy to have further conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tula. So we don't have time now for question, but let me tell everybody that I'm very much open to put you in through Tula for any need or any question you may pose to her. Let me add 2 points. The first one is as for the conference. Within the Palgrave Studies in Impact Finance, we have published every year a special book, Contemporary Issues in Sustainable Finance, which is a selection of papers presented at the conference. So I mean, of course, the scientific committee is will work after the conference on that, and if you think that your work is eligible and is suitable for publication within a book of the series, we are very much happy about that. Second point, Tula has been very gentle when she was saying, with reference to the timing from the starting point to the publication. It depends on maybe between 6 months or 2 years, depending on each other. I must say that, just to not scare our colleagues, I must say that it's mostly depending on authors more than on Palgrave, because I must confess that they can be very, very fast in the publication process. But according to my experience, now it's 7 years. I think, if I'm not wrong, the most difficult point in the reaction of authors is not at the beginning, but mostly at the end, when they have to fine-tuning everything during the publication process, and especially in the proofing phases. So don't be scared about the 2 months perspective, 2 years perspective, because really, depending on you, the publication process is usually around 1 year, less than 1 year. I must say, Tula, that we also have other publisher that join us in this conference experience. If the authors believe that their work are much more suitable for international journals, then I will remind that we have a sustainability, which is a very outstanding journal and very much focused on these issues, as well as for more national perspective, we have also Rivista Bancaria by Minerva. So a large spectrum of opportunities. Of course, authors are always free to choose other alternatives, but it's a moral obligation of an international conference to put on the table, these opportunities. So I thank you, officially thank you for this long collaboration and for this first target of 25 books. I repeated this morning that the 2 keynote speakers, Zivko Berkant and Magda Ziolo, have just published 2 interesting books within the series, and I do hope that apart from the contemporary issue that would follow the conference, many of you would take the chance and the opportunity to stay in contact with Tula for other projects as well. So
thank you so much, Mary.
It has been a long and interesting day, but sure, I hope it has been an interesting day, but for sure it has been a long day. So I thank you all. My last reminder for authors is we are now closing the official program, and we will join with the scientific committee in relation to the Best Paper Awards. So authors, stay tuned, because tomorrow we will announce the winners of the 2021 Best Paper Awards. I can anticipate that as the past years, we will have 3 best papers, so quite a good chance to stay in among the winners. Stay tuned. At the end of the second day, at the end of tomorrow, of the tomorrow work, we will announce the winners, and we congratulate with the winners, but of course with all the others, because actually has been a very interesting conference. We received a lot of paper, all interesting and very much updated modern perspective, I must say. So thanks again to everyone. I see you tomorrow at 10 for the workshop on sustainable finance and mutual banks. Thank you all. Thank you, Marco, for the assistant, and thank you all to all the staff. Ci vediamo domani. See you tomorrow. Ciao.